This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and I am super excited because I cannot believe it's already March. I don't even know where January and February went, but they're gone. And I hope during that time you have found some amazing books to read. And if you have, please let me know. You can find me on social media at patriciawfisher.com. And I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Spoutable is a new website or a new social media that does an amazing job with getting rid of trolls. And if you want to learn more about it, you should do Spoutable.com. It's SPOUTABLE.com. There's a little whale is their little icon there. So check it out. I think it's pretty fun. It's a great place to just hang out and have some really nice conversations. And if you are looking for amazing reads, I of course have a fantastic author that you should check out. And I found her on TikTok. Lori Ryan is an amazing New York Times and USA bestseller who writes contemporary romance novels and romantic suspense. And she lives with a very understanding husband, 3 wonderful children, and 2 mostly behaved dogs in Texas. She is a bit of a zoo, chaos, but of course she wouldn't change anything. Lori published her first romance novel in April of 2013. She has loved every bit of the crazy adventure this career has taken her on since then. She is a hybrid author, meaning she has published both as an indie or self-pub author through Silverheart Publishing, which is a publisher. She also has a new side hobby of creating coloring books for adults. She loves to connect with her readers. You can follow her on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. She's also on TikTok. And please consider leaving her a review if you have read her books or after you read her books when we talk about it today. And if you want to stay in touch with her, just like I said, check her out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and you can find her at Lori, Lori, Ryan, RYAN, romance.com. And so welcome to the show, Miss Lori Ryan. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So I was saying that I actually found you on TikTok. You have these really fun, posts about the people calling in to you or calling you about concerns they had about about characters in your book. So let's back up a little bit. So you write a lot of suspense, all contemporary romance, so contemporary or romantic suspense. Where did you get started?
Well, I actually started, about 10 years ago. And I started when I was pregnant with my middle child, and the last couple of months of the pregnancy, I could just barely move. I couldn't breathe. I think he was shoving his feet into my lungs, and I could not move. And so I was kind of just stuck on the couch. Good times. And men are always like, "What do you mean you were stuck on the couch?" And the women are like, "Yep." So I had read romance novels. Sorry, my dog is barking from the background.
No worries.
I had read romance novels some when I was in high school, and but I had stopped reading them, and so for whatever reason I just started picking them up again, and I was reading a book a day basically because I had nothing else to do, and eventually I just started going, this would be cool if it happened like this, or this would be cool if she did this, or I want a character who does that. And so I mentioned it to one of my friends, and I was like, I think I'm going to write a romance novel. And they were just sort of like, yeah, of course you are, because I kind of had been notorious for switching jobs and just doing whatever, came to me. And they were just like, yeah, sure, of course you are. And so I wrote a draft, and I kind of got really lucky because I Well, I knew right off the bat that I wanted to do indie publishing. I had kind of vaguely heard of it. And at the time, Bella Andre had been doing a ton of interviews on, how to self-publish the right way and what you needed and all that. And so I just basically devoured like every interview I could find that she had done on the steps of self-publishing. And so I knew I wanted to do it that way. But I wanted to hire editors, and I got really lucky, and I found an editor who had worked at a bunch of the big six publishers. And so she, as she was editing, she was really teaching me a bunch of the things that I needed to watch out for and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
So that kind of shaped it early on. And then I just, I came in at the right moment too. I think that helped a lot. I came in right at the tail end of like the big boom of, ebooks, self-publishing ebooks on Amazon. And so I was lucky to kind of ride that wave a little bit. So yeah, and then it just kind of took off from there.
So when you plotted that first book, what was your thought about, is this going to be a series? Is this just going to be a one-time thing? We'll see where it goes. What were your thoughts in general?
I am a reader of series. I find a series I love, and I devour the entire thing as fast as I can get my hands on it. And so I knew from the get-go that I wanted to do that. My first book that I published was called Legal Ease, and it's actually been republished and retitled as The Billionaire Deal now. And it is, I wanted to take a very sort of cookie-cutter approach to it. So I loved marriage of convenience books and fake relationship books. So I, very much plotted out, exactly how a marriage of convenience book should go, except that I had the twist that she's actually the one that proposes to him. So she finds out through a friend that this billionaire, Jack Ryan, not Jack Ryan, that's wrong. What did I say that? Jack Sutton. I'm like, that's wrong. What is my character's name? Yeah, that's bad. So she found out through her best friend that who worked at his office that Jack Sutton was desperate for a wife, and he needed one within like the next day. And she had gotten into the law school of her dreams. She'd gotten into Yale, but she didn't get the financial aid she was hoping for. So she walks into his office during a meeting where he is supposed to be introducing his fiance to his aunt and his cousin. And if he can't produce this fiance, he's going to lose the company. And so she walks in with a stack of like the wedding license stuff and a little sticky note that says, I'll marry you for $149,000, which is what she needed for law school. And he thinks that his CFO, who was out there trying to figure out a way to solve this problem for him, must have found this woman, must know who she is. And so he's like, yes, I guess so, yes. And then very quickly realizes that she has no idea who his CFO is, and this is just some woman who walked in off the street. And and it all kind of goes from there. And then as I was writing, I was like, oh, I think something suspenseful should happen. And so I added like a suspense element to it. And then that's how I kind of got into romantic suspense. So, and that first series, the Sutton Capital series, it focuses on all of the other people in the company as well. Like all of his, his CFO is the second book. And then his head of security, who is also his cousin, is the third book. And then there's just various people as it goes on. And those are all more sort of like contemporary romance with a twist of suspense. But then I sort of very much went more heavily into suspense. So then there's some spin-off series from there that are more more heavy police procedural kind of mystery suspense stuff. But there's still always a romance. And then I have a series that's small town romance with like woman on the run kind of stuff. And so yeah, it just kind of went from there.
Yeah. I mean, you have 5 different series. I'm looking here on your website. So you have the Sutton Billionaire series, and then the Sutton Capital Intrigue series, Sutton Capital on the Line series. Okay. And then there's the Heroes of Evers.
The spin-off.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And then you have Heroes of Evers, Texas series with Protect is in all of the titles. So Love and Protect, Promise and Protect, all that. Then you have Triple Play Curse series. So you've got 3 books there.
Yeah.
And
that's super fun. That's actually that, and then a series that I did with another author are the only ones that actually don't have any suspense in it. So the Triple Play Curse novellas, that's a series of 3 novellas, and I actually really love that one. It's like it's this baseball team who they think that there's a curse on them, and that if any one of them falls in love with a woman during the season, that 2 more will fall. Like it comes in 3s for them, and it's a distraction that they don't want because it messes up their game. And so they all go into this season saying, like, no matter what happens, none of us are falling in love this season. And then, of course, they all fall in love. So
of course, because tell somebody no, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that's a super fun one. Yeah.
And then you have the Dark Falls series, and I see that you've written this with different authors. Or different authors
so that's
in
a
the series.
It's a world that we all created, and there are, I think there's 6 of us that wrote in it, and those are more police procedural. Like we came up with a police precinct in, I think we set that one. Oh, that one is in a fake town, Dark Falls. So for a minute, I was trying to think. The Sutton Capital Intrigue series take place in New Haven, Connecticut, in the police department there. And I was thinking for a minute we did that, but no, it's a fake. Dark Falls is the town, and it's all the detectives in the major crimes precinct are falling in love, and so those are their stories. And there's again a heavy mystery element to them. So I wrote 3 books in that series. And then there's some other authors who wrote either 1 or 2 books in the series, depending on the author. So there's some really amazing authors in it, like Savannah Cade and Trish McCallum. I'm so horrible with last names today.
Yeah, McCallum.
Yeah, Trish McCallum and Becca. I should really have my website open. This is horrible. Becca Jameson.
It's
like I'm taking a test and I'm like just totally lost. I feel like I didn't study for my test.
It's funny because it's interesting that people, they'll come up and talk to you about different authors or stories or, different stories that you've had with the idea that you would remember every detail about every series you've ever written. And even if you've only written 3 books, there are times that you're just looking at someone thinking, I have no idea what they're talking about right now. And it's not that you don't want to. It's just that you also got this real life thing going on. But to them, they've been thinking about this whatever. And so I find it very interesting how people get attached to, we get attached to fictional characters. Yeah. And so it's kind of fun. When you're writing your series, and even if you've plotted out, I'm going to write about that character eventually because I've already got it ready in my brain. How many times have you been asked to write about characters you didn't even consider writing about?
I don't think anybody's really. Oh, you mean like a side character or something? Somebody's like, I want this story. I'm trying to think. I think that did happen recently. Most of the time when I feed my side characters in, I'm like, I know that person is going to be a character. Now, I did initially, like when I wrote that first book, The Cousin, I was going to make the cousin be kind of this like not great throwaway character that I didn't want to really do anything with. And then as I started writing, I was like, oh, I actually kind of really like this guy. So the funny thing is I don't really love his name that I gave him, but I was like, yeah, I gave him that name because I thought it was going to be, somebody else, like just a side character, not an actual character. But most of the time I know who it's going to be. I'm trying to think. Somebody asked for someone recently, and it might be in my new pen name. I have a new pen name with another author that I'm writing it with. We write as Lori Collier because I'm Lori Ryan and she's Eli Collier is her name.
Okay.
And we're writing urban fantasy under that.
Oh, how fun.
And yeah, it's super fun. It's super fun. And I think people have kind of come to me there and been like, oh, I can't wait to see like so-and-so's book. And I'm like, oh, so-and-so wasn't going to get a book, but I guess they think they should, and I'm like, oh, maybe that'll happen someday. I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, the best thing is when they come to you and say it about somebody, like, you're about to like kill off and you're like, oh no, that's not happening.
Right.
So, that's always bad. But yeah, I don't get it. Usually people can tell who my next book is going to be or who's going to get their books eventually in it because they're pretty prominent side characters. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So you've written this and you're writing your urban fantasy now. What else are you going? I mean, are there other characters within the series that you've written? Are those series done and now you're thinking of doing new ones? I mean, what's on your to-do list here? Well,
unfortunately, my agenda of what I want to do is a lot larger than my ability to do it right now. And so
sure.
I did kind of seed a new romantic suspense series into some books that I wrote. I kind of put the characters in there and readers picked up on it right away and was like, we're going to get this set of people next, aren't we? And unfortunately, I haven't given it to them yet. So I need to, I'm working on that. That's going to be the Halo Security or Halo Protection, I think it's going to be. And I've started some of the books, but I just unfortunately don't have the bandwidth for it right now. So I'm kind of,
sure.
Those are sort of on the back burner. And then the urban fantasy, we've written 3 books in the series so far, and there probably will be about 6 to 8 books in that series. So we're working on those right now. And then I actually have another side project that I'm working on with another author. Well, no, actually I have 2 more side projects that I'm working on. So I wrote, it's a little ridiculous. You can see why. And I have 3 kids under 13. So you can see why this is a bit of a problem for me. So I wrote with Kay Manis, who's another contemporary romance author. She and I wrote a small town contemporary romance series, the Sumner Brothers series, or it was originally called Canyon Creek, and then we changed it to Sumner Brothers. And that is 6 books about 6 brothers that come back to a small Colorado town after their dad dies, and they have no intention of staying, and then of course they fall in love. And so there are 6 female cousins in that world, and so we are working on the female set right now. And then I have another new pen name that's going to come out probably not for a while, that's called Lori West Shaw, and that is something I'm writing with somebody else that's going to be 1920s historical cozy mysteries. And so those are going to be pretty short, I think probably 35,000 word, maybe, a little novella kind of things or short books. And so we're working on those. So yeah, it's unfortunately a bit of a problem now that I have so many that I'm supposedly working on, but I'll get to them eventually, I guess.
I think that just once that creative brain is split open, there's just so many things that come out, and it's just never ending because it's like, oh, I finished this series, but I've already got 6 others plotted in my head before I've even finished this one. So, yeah. Because I mean, you pick up stuff just walking around or reading the paper.
You're just like, oh, or a character that you never thought was going to be something ends up being something. So
it's just fun to see. It's just, you're creating these worlds, and it's like, oh yeah, we could do that. Oh, that's right, we could go back and have this person do this. Or maybe this person should have this unique skill. I laugh about when I was reading romance novels like years ago, you would have never seen a billionaire on a cover. It was always millionaires, and I laugh now because people are like, well, it's not a billionaire. I don't want to read. Like, really?
I know, right? He doesn't have enough money
to be a billionaire. Yeah, the expectations are really high.
Soon we'll be writing about trillionaires, and it's like, I literally think there are no trillionaires in the world, but we'll just be like, whatever.
Yeah,
I know what we can do. It can be like now I'm going to have another series I want to write. It can be the My Trillionaire Alien Romance, and on that planet there are plenty of trillionaires.
Right. Yeah. But it means like something else, like, they have like $50 in their pocket. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. We were, a friend of mine and I were laughing about, this was like several years ago, and I texted her because I saw the Cowboy Billionaire. It was like the first cover I saw with Cowboy Billionaire, and it was like an inspirational. And so I was like, whoa, it's happening.
Oh,
it's happening.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I didn't realize this, but recently I went to look for, I think I was looking for other billionaire marriage of convenience or fake relationship books so that I could do the, on TikTok you do, if you love this, read that. And so I was looking for some, and the vast majority of the ones that I found that were both billionaire and marriage of convenience were like inspirational, sweet, clean stuff. And I was like, what in the world? Like, so apparently mine is one of the only ones that's steamy as hell and has both scripts in it. I mean, I'm sure there are tons of them out there, but
yeah.
Well, people will start sending them to me now.
Yeah. Yes, so everybody send your recommendations to Lori. She will gladly look and see what you have for your favorite billionaire marriage of conveniences.
Absolutely will.
So when you're not writing and juggling children, and I get this because I have 4, and it's so much fun to find out that you live just up the road, which,
that's
by
right.
Texas standards. Yeah, by Texas standards, living up the road can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 5 hours because it's literally like not that far in our minds. Other people would be like, God, she lives like 2 hours away. It's like, that's nothing, So yes, we found out that we live just down the road from each other. So it's fun to see this. And then you've got this really fun series, sexy series, the Heroes of Evers, Texas. And so what town or towns or area of Texas did you base Evers on?
That's like hill country. Yeah. Like out in the hill country and small town area. Yep. So it's not really based on any particular town, but just out that way. Yeah. And I know it's kind of neat to be able to make things up completely,
Yeah. It's, I when I wrote my first book, it was set in Dallas. And, things are obviously where they are. And people really liked the book, but I did get an email that says, by the way, interstate, not highway. I was like, okay. And I thought, well, fine. When I do my next one, I'm going to just create my own town. So nobody can say anything.
Yeah.
But it's always being consistent within that. So even though there's advantages to having, basing it off of, let's say you base it off of Johnson City. Well, the town is a certain way, and this, 281 runs through here, and 290 runs this way, and so anybody who's familiar would know that if you create your own town, you have to make sure everything's consistent. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to it all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm really bad at like keeping keeping track of all the details and things. I really suck at that. So
yeah,
I rely on readers a lot of the time to be like, wait, what happened here, or how long ago did this happen?
Wait a minute, that grocery store wasn't at that corner in the last book. Like, oh, they opened a bigger store. You didn't get that part of them? Like, oh, okay, sure.
I didn't mention that.
No, man, I left that chapter out. I'm so sorry. So when you are not writing, when you are and not juggling children, and you're making TikTok videos apparently.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got started on the videos where one of the characters calls you.
Yeah, so that's a series where a hero from a book, it's always a hero, and he calls me, and he'll be like, and so it's basically you only hear my side of the conversation, but I'll be like, okay, you hate her. Okay, even though she has like lips that look like pressed berries. What are pressed berries? And I have this conversation with him, and then, and then he calls back again a few days later, and it's like, like, oh, she's getting on your nerves because she keeps waggling that butt in front of you or something, like just, and you see the progression of him going through like an enemies to lovers kind of trope. Mm-hmm. And then, or there's one where the guy calls and he's like, I have a solution to my problem. I'm just going to sleep with her and get it out of my system. And I talked to him about, like how long does he think this will take? Oh, it'll take a week? Oh, good. That sounds reasonable. And you don't think this is going to be a problem? No, sex is just sex to you. There's nothing emotional about it. Okay.
Right.
So, so it just, there's actually a class for authors. It's run by Lila Dubois and Jane Ryland. And, okay. And so in that, part of what they do is they help you create like a unique series that you're going to do on your TikToks. And that's actually not the one that I came up with during the class. During the class, I was doing like a, finding tropes in the wild kind of thing, but it just didn't, I don't know. I just tried to do it for a few weeks and I didn't really love it. These ones I love, although it's hard for me to sometimes sit down and think about, like, I need to sit down and brainstorm more ideas for what to do with it. But, I mean, they're super fun. Like, it's kind of neat to think, like, what would you even say to this guy who has convinced himself that he can just work this girl out of the system? And so it's all these tropes that, of course, we love. Like, we gobble these things up. We love them. We're not going to, stop reading them. But it really is kind of silly to have this, to think about what this guy actually thinks is going to happen as part of this plan of his,
Right. Well, you get to be the voice of reason outside the spectrum of the book, which is fun.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if someone's looking for that kind of trope, they find you, and they're like, and the other part of it for everyone who's listening, she's reading the book that the character's in when he calls. So
well, I have to get better about that. I'm actually not always reading the book that's from. Sometimes these are things that I don't have a book of. So I have to actually try to get better about that. But like my own books, especially, I have something like, I don't know, I think I have 30 or 40 or something books. And so it's like, I can go for a little while with doing the ones that are in my book, but at some point I'm going to need to branch out. So sometimes I'm just doing a general kind of, a general kind of trope, and it's not the book that it's in, but it should be.
Sure.
Totally should be.
Right. It should be. Yeah. So, let's make it happen.
Yes. I know. Like it really ought to go that way.
Right. So where do you see yourself writing-wise in, let's say, 5 years?
I don't know. I mean, probably still plotting my way through the ones that I'm trying to get written now because I have so many sort of written. I I have been going through some burnout with writing, and so that's one of the reasons that I switched genres, because there was a lot of just burnout of writing, another romantic suspense.
Right.
But then there are times where I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go back to it now. And so I'm honestly not sure. I'm not sure if I'll be, still writing, or if I'll just be doing something involved with writing in some way, but something slightly different. I don't really know. I would like to still be writing because I do love it, but we've gone through some stuff. Like one of my daughters was just going through stuff where I needed to homeschool her for a while. And so as a result, I basically didn't have time to write. And now I'm trying to go back and write again. And like, I called my friend recently. I was like, writing the first draft, like, sucks. It's really hard. And the writing is not very good. And I think I was trying to make the writing good. So I kept writing and deleting and writing and deleting. It was like I had forgotten that you actually just have to keep writing the crap version before you get to the good version. I think I thought it was going to come out good the first time. And it's like, no, I actually have to go through this process. And so,
I think that's why a lot of people get frustrated because, if you can just kind of pour it out on the page, but I mean, everybody needs help. I mean, nobody can write the first draft the first time. There's no one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people that can get relatively, close through trial and error and have been writing it for a while, but still, I mean, and that's what's so hard when I see like my kids, or I've taught classes at the schools. It's like, don't keep yourself from writing because you're afraid it's going to suck. It's like, it is going to suck. The first draft and maybe even the fifth draft is going to suck, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Because you will, it's like, the first time you try and make a recipe, it may or may not be great, but the more you make it, the better it's going to be. So it's interesting to see. It's interesting you can see who sticks with it, because I'm sure you've met.
Yeah,
I was going to write a book once. It's like, well, you didn't.
Oh
so.
yeah. It is, and it's like I think I thought that by now it would be easy, kind of. Like I think you get past those first few, and you think, surely by the time I get to my 40th book, this will be a lot easier. And it's like, oh no, it actually didn't work out that way. It's not easier.
Right.
It's still just as sucky of a process. So, but I do love I love coming up with ideas for books, and I like the editing and stuff. So actually a lot of the things that I write with other authors, we plot the books together, and then they write the first draft and I do the editing. And that's just that's the way that it's worked out for us to do it. So, and then there's another one like with the urban fantasy that I'm writing. So my writing partner for those ones she's actually not a writer. She used to have a company where she would help authors write fight scenes. And she did workshops for authors on fight scenes because she's a double black belt in 2 different martial arts. And she's in the black belt, like she's in 2 different black belt halls of fame. And has all these fight credits to her name. And is like, I'm pretty short. She's even shorter than me, and she's a total badass, and could completely, take me in a fight any day. And, we plot together some, and then, I write the book, but then I'll write okay, here we need this to happen and this to happen. And, we need a fight that kind of involves this, and, they have to be hurt to this level. And then she sends me back something where suddenly there's a giant spider attacking the person, and she comes up with really cool ways to kill people and stuff. Yeah. So she'll come up with stuff that I get back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. This is the best thing. So,
I've had friends of mine.
That works out really well.
I used to work as a trauma nurse, and I've had friends call and say, okay, I need somebody wounded, but I can't have them wounded this badly. So I need to know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. They need
if
to
they
still be able to fight
kind of
in an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they get stabbed with this kind of knife in this part of the leg, would they be able to, it's just like, and then, and sort of, if you stepped outside of it, you'd think, man, my friends are weird. Like, I'm worried, but, and then you're like, we're writers, it's fine. So, it's no big deal.
Yeah. Have you seen that Facebook group, like Trauma for Writers or something?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should find it. It's I think it's called Trauma for Writers, or and it is, there's that one, and then there's one that's like a legal one. So it's basically like like people will go in there and post those kind of questions, and there's a bunch of like nurses and doctors and EMTs and stuff who will just go in and answer and say, oh, you could do this or you could do that, or it's a great resource.
Well, and it's fun, too, because if anybody's reading it, the different perspectives, and I will definitely check this out, but the different perspectives from the doctor to the nurse to the EMT to the respiratory therapist or whoever, they're all different because the training's different. So what each one is looking for, it's also, you have to decide the perspective of your character. And so is my character this person or is it this person? And so it's very interesting to see how to break it down. So, I'm going to be interested. I'm probably going to spend a lot of time doing that. So my afternoon's full now. Thank you, Lori. I will be doing that.
I know. Well, so and then the other thing that,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so the other reason, one of the other reasons that I needed to a break from my romantic suspense stuff was because, when I write urban fantasy, it's like, as long as everything works within the magic world that you have built, and the rules that you've laid out for yourself, it's fine. But in like romantic suspense, I basically have to have, most of my books, like especially my later ones, most of them were read by some kind of police officer, detective, a doctor or somebody else in medicine, usually like a lawyer, a lot of times a psychiatrist or psychologist. It was like the list of experts that I needed to send either the whole thing to or just pieces to was just kind of crazy. It was like, so many people that you need to draw on. And when I go back to writing, it's going to be to writing those, it's going to be hard for me because I actually don't have all of those resources lined up anymore. I'll have to like call on them. So.
Yeah. Speaking of that, with you writing a saucier end of the scale for romance, do you find that those scenes can be the best thing ever, or just like, I don't want it to sound the same each time? It's like, how do you come up with different creative ways to, have fun?
And that's like one of the things that I'm going through right now. With my urban fantasy, we've had it be a really slow burn romance. And then now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I need to start writing romance again. And because we're going to have them get together in this fourth book, they're finally going to get together. And it's like, well, I don't know that I remember how to write that, which I guess in a way might be good because, yes, when I stopped writing romantic suspense for a while, it was very much like, I don't think I can write another sex scene. Just like, so yeah, it definitely is, it's something that you kind of struggle with. How can I, and then the same thing for the mystery. It's like, well, how do I make this kind of mystery again that's different enough from the other things,
Right.
And there's always something, like there's definitely always something you can do.
Sure.
But it does get to the point where it gets a little bit, it's
tedious,
harder as you go along sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that, human nature is such that it can be rather unpredictable, but then you have to make sure that the unpredictability isn't too unbelievable, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff in the world. And, I mean, I used to come home from work and my mom would say, so how did work go? And I'd just kind of give her like generalities of, oh, I had this happen or that happen. And she'd just look at me and she'd say, I don't believe you. Like, there's no way. And I just look at her like, Mom, you just have no idea how weird people are and the kind of crap they do. And so, yeah, to sit there and kind of make those things believable can cause you some pretty good burnout for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And so with all that in mind, what do you do to step away from, like, to deprogram for a little while?
Well, I read a ton still, so probably more than I should. But yes, I read a ton, and I watch Marvel movies with my son, and I bike a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I kind of read other people's stuff. I listen to a ton of audiobooks. Like I pretty much almost always have audiobooks playing, like while I'm doing stuff. So while I'm doing the dishes or cooking or whatever. So yeah, I listen to a ton of audiobooks, and there's some that I do find like I often can't listen to something like when the story that I'm writing gets to the point where it's so in my head that it overwhelms things and I can't listen to audiobooks, then there's a few series and books that I listen to again and again and again, because those ones don't kind of interfere usually. So I'll do stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have any big hobbies really. Mostly writing is my hobby. It's like I'm kind of lucky that like people will be like, oh, you're working through vacation, and I'm like, of course I am. Like work is, I can't. This sounds awful, but I can't wait till the day when my kids are like out of the house so that I can work all the time. I just want to work all the time.
Right.
I know
what you mean. Yeah. We went on a cruise
hopefully by the time I get there, I still will.
Yeah. I mean, I went on a cruise years ago, and my husband, I was sitting there. It was in the afternoon. The kids were all at the play area, and we splurged for a really nice room, and it was beautiful, and it was a day at sea. And I was like, I'm going to sit outside and go. And he looked at me. He's like, Are you kidding? I was like, my God, it's perfect. You want to pay for an overpriced coffee drink?
And I'm no, of course I'm not kidding. Why would you? Yeah.
Like, I don't know why this is
exactly.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I have to watch myself and be like, wait, is this a time when I'm supposed to be like enjoying the family, or can I sneak off and write? Like it's, you have to, not that I don't love time with my family. I do. I'm making it sound like I don't. I totally do.
I get it.
But,
I get it.
But yeah, it's like we're going skiing soon for spring break, and I don't ski. So I will take my laptop, and, everybody's like, what are you going to do all day? And I'm like, I will be at the lodge in case my kids need me, and I will just find a cozy spot and sit and write all day long, and it's going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing, and you may come up with even more stories. It may help, and they may even help you. Just being in a different spot to write may help, or just clear your brain a little. So I get it. I do. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you, Lori.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It was great to chat.
Absolutely. So everybody, if you are looking for some romantic suspenses or some small town romances or just, saucy books in general, you should look up Lori Ryan, and it's LORIRYAN romance.com. I've got the links in the write-up of the show, and she's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and you can sign up for her newsletter. She's got plenty of books out, so spring break's coming up, so moms or dads, if you want something fun to read, there's plenty of books there for you if she's a new-to-you author, so check her out. And that is it for me, Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio. Everybody stay healthy and keep on reading.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.